What up? It's your boy T-Bear Henry reaction to today's Wrestling with it. So, today I'm gonna try to do some things about some tag teams as well too. I had a couple videos I've been pushing back as well too, involving tag team, and one that just got added recently though as well too. And if I got time, I'm gonna do one video about the upcoming pay-per-view, based off the upcoming pay-per-view Survivor Series. As you know, the War Games got announced though, but either way, without further ado, we're gonna check out from partsFUNknown, 10 greatest WWE tag teams that were never champions. There's plenty of good amount of as well too that comes to mind that were awesome tag team, but surprisingly, shockingly, and sadly, never won the gold. They came close to the goal, but never won it. So anyway, without further ado, let's check that out.
For many years, it felt as if Mike Myers would stand in front of a decimated WWE tag division, while Kanye West would say Vince McMahon does not care about tag teams. Things have gotten better.
This one of them was saw my meme. I actually posted a meme. I think I posted a meme about that in my community. I posted a meme definitely.
Since the days of WWE tag team champions David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy, but the impact of those years has been felt, particularly.
I'm trying to stop. Anyway, I made a meme about that too with Kanye West saying Vince McMahon don't like tag teams. And I think I made a meme about that. So one of them saw my memes. Anyway, because they already knew how I feel. But yeah, for a while it looks like Vince didn't care about tag team. It's still for a while, man, it did. But anyway, let's keep going.
Things have gotten better since the days of WWE tag team champions David Otunga and Michael McGillicuddy, but the impact of those years has been felt, particularly with teams that never got a chance to hold the gold. Truthfully, there are top tag teams in every era that have been passed over for the gold in WWE. Just like there have been many single stars who were never world champions, insert list plug here, tag teams are not safe. I'm Tempest hailing from partsFUNknown, and these are the 10 greatest WWE tag teams that were never champions. But before we get on with this list, please make sure that you like this video, subscribe, and enable notifications to always on so you never miss a fun list just like it. And check out Dan Layton's latest list right here. Number 10, DIY.
Yep.
While Johnny Wrestling and Tommy Entertainment could certainly be called the best tag team on this list,
well, I will say that they just got made, so I want to say not yet. They just got put together in WWE, so I want to say not in the main roster. So I want to say not yet. I feel like they could possibly do it soon. Who knows?
Slot in here at the bottom due to not really being a WWE tag team. They have wrestled a pair of matches on the main roster in 2019 against the Revival and the Bar, but since then, nary a tag match have they had. Of course, this could change as soon as Tommaso Ciampa finds where they've been keeping Johnny Gargano captive,
so this was made before they reunited. Nice.
DIY stands as by far the best tag team in NXT history to wrestle on the main roster and not win the tag titles. It's a shame that injuries and such have seemingly stood in the way of a potential DIY versus Owens and Zayn tag title match, because my god, that would warm the people.
And we won't get it now because one, goddamn JD got the titles. Two, Cody and Sammy and KO's are in different shows now. Well, I still believe that DIY will eventually win tag team titles too. I'm kind of hoping they do as baby faces though. I really do, because they deserve to pop in the glare. But we'll see. We'll see.
WG corners of my heart, and would have offered Owens and Zayn a set of challengers that weren't the Judgment Day. Two birds, one indie tag team. Hopefully, this is one entry on this list that still has time to be rectified. Number 9, the Bushwhackers. Okay, I lied.
Surprising.
Now, here is the best working team on the list.
Surprising.
The Bushwhackers are one of the most iconic WWF tag teams of the 80s, and yet they cannot boast a single reign as tag team champions. They can boast having more 5-star matches than Kurt Angle, though. Think about that rationally, commenters. But what that does mean on a more serious level is that the Bushwhackers absolutely had the chops to pull off being a real team in WWE had they been given a chance. The immediate criticism of having these lads on this list would be their status as a comedy team, constantly trying to dry their incredibly wet arms in the least efficient way possible, but their time as the sheep herders would tell you that they were more than that. It would also have been difficult to give them a run on top in an era with teams like the Hart Foundation, British Bulldogs, Demolition, and Brainbusters fighting for the straps, and I'll let you know right now, that is not going to be the only time this comes up on this list. Number 8, Team Road Scholars.
Wow.
The front half of the 2010s were perhaps the absolute dirt worst time for WWE's tag division.
No lie on that. No lies on that. I will say that. I will say there's no lies told on that part right there.
It was the age of the Franken team, where it would not be uncommon for the teams challenging for the tag titles on back-to-back pay-per-views to be Wade Barrett and Ezekiel Jackson, and then CM Punk and Mason Ryan. A dire time indeed. Wow. But I tell you this to set the scene for when the mustachioed Cody Rhodes joined forces with the intellectual savior of the masses, Damien Sandow, in 2012. At first glance, another Franken team, but upon further inspection, it was a very entertaining tag team that would spend several months being the main rivals of WWE Tag Team Champions Team Hell No. Unfortunately for the pair, they were a victim of poor timing, as they weren't going to be the ones to take the tag titles off WWE's new tag project of Bryan and Kane, or The Shield months later. The Rhodes Scholars lasted little less than a year because the only thing WWE loved more than a Franken team was breaking up Franken teams. But it did give Cody the chance to team with his brother and take the titles from Seth and Roman Reigns in the end. Cody beating Roman for a title. Almost sounds like fantasy at this point. Number 6.
Or could it be? Even though I might have a thoughts and reaction if I have time about that as well too, because lately they've been harping the whole Roman record and the Hogan record a little bit. I hope they're not want to give him the title just because they want Roman to beat Hogan record. Though I hope that's not the case, man. I'm really hoping, but we'll see.
7. The Killer Bees. We return to the 80s, this time for one of the most reliable teams of the day, the Killer Bees. Because their name started with B, you see. Naming wrestling things isn't so hard, really. B. Brian Blair and Jumping Jim Brunzell were a middle-of-the-pack tag team in the stacked division of the WWF, often being used as fodder for the more high-ranking teams previously mentioned on this list, namely the Hart Foundation. But they were still popular with the fans. They were one of the first teams in WWE to utilize what would go on to be known as Twin Magic, then known as Masked Confusion, and that certainly would seem like a strategy that would win them the WWF Tag Team Championship, but alas, their time with the belts never came. They had plenty of shots, particularly against Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine, but unfortunately they will have to go down as a team that was liked by fans, respected by their peers, but never enshrined among the British Bulldogs, Brainbusters, Body Donnas, and of course, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas, as the true B teams to win the WWE Tag Team Championship. Number 6, Enzo and Cass. From the moment Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy arrived on the main roster, WWE commentators couldn't help but shout from the rooftops that one day, Big Cass is going to be a single star. And if that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about Vince McMahon's thoughts on this here team, I don't know what will. It also means time was working against them, because Lord knows the top brass was itching to hit that tag team breakup button. Several times, fate stood in the way of Enzo and Cass going for the WWE Tag Team Championship. They were going to win the number 1 contenders tournament at Payback 2016 before Enzo was nearly decapitated live on pay-per-view, and then rumor has it they were set to win the tag titles at WrestleMania 33 before the Hardys became available. Sure enough, by the summer of 2017, they had broken up, and somehow Enzo became the only one of them to win a singles title in WWE. Wouldn't have bet on that in a million years, but surely this means WWE cannot be trusted. Number 5.
You know, they heels right now. You know, he's a heel right now. Cass didn't end up being able to win a tag team champion because he's tag team champion with Ricky Starks right now. But downside about it, they're heels, so can't root for that. Anyway, Bellator. Well, good, whatever. Good. They don't deserve it. They don't deserve it.
The Bella Twins, the most iconic women's tag team in WWE history, whether you like it or not.
I'm surprised they haven't got seeing has, you know, how like WWE at the former time would love to give anybody who don't deserve the title A titles. I'm surprised they didn't get one. So they didn't get the tag titles. So I'm a little surprised about that. But kind of glad they didn't. So.
There are actually quite a few women's tag teams from years gone by that would have absolutely held the women's tag titles hostage had they existed at the time. Lay Cool, the Divas of Doom, but none of them come close to the top billing status of the Bella Twins. Quite frankly, I find it shocking that they haven't done a short run just to win the titles and dip, because man, you look at the title history of the women's tag belts, and sure.
Again, at the time, it wasn't out of time, but again, glad. But I would say if the tag team championship was out around the time they was popping, they probably would have won it. No lie.
It's bizarre to see Natalya and Tamina and not the Bella Twins. However, on the other hand, given how cursed the women's tag titles seem to have been, maybe it's for the best that the Bellas are kept far away from them. They've both got families, damn it, and I would give them about 2 weeks with the belts before both would be bandaged up from head to toe. Would have completed their resumes, though. There is absolutely no denying that. Number 4, the Fabulous Rougeaus. The date is August 10th, 1987. The event, a terrible Canadian misjustice. The Fabulous Rougeaus were wrestling the Hart Foundation for the WWF Tag Team Championship, and upon the interception of Jimmy Hart's trademark megaphone by the Rougeau brothers, they used that same megaphone to get the win and win the titles. Or so they thought. Despite being announced as the winners and the new champs, the decision was overturned by the WWF and their tag title win was never acknowledged. Worse still, the Fabulous Rougeaus would never again raise the titles, as this phantom win would go down in their careers as the only time they were ever able to come as close. Raymond and Jacques Rougeau were a pretty consistent heel fixture in the WWF tag division of the 80s, working primarily with the Hart Foundation after Jimmy Hart turned on his former team. But even despite a big angle with a top tag team, the Rougeaus would never be given the ball as the top team of the territory. But the Canadians in the room know the truth. We all really know. Number 3, Crime Time. Yo. Shad Gaspard and JTG. It's a mildly offensive 2000.
Serious crime indeed, man. They should have won at least one time, man. Even if it was a short run, they should have won it one time, man. Oh my God. And then of course,
tag team name. Set aside for a moment that Shad Gaspard talked about not wanting to be perceived as a thug in his Tough Enough audition, and then WWE promptly putting him in this tag team, because it is still wild as hell that one of the most recognizable and beloved teams of the late 2000s were never tag team champions. This is the era where teams like CM Punk and Kofi Kingston and Cody Rhodes and Hardcore Holly were tag team champions, and yet one of the most put together and popular teams around never got a turn. They had plenty of shots, challenging for the tag titles on paper.
That was crazy that most of the makeshift teams was getting more than the actual teams for a while, man.
Against Priceless and Jericho, but for some reason WWE never went all the way with Shad and JTG, leading to perhaps the single most unproductive tag team breakup ever in 2010. Always remember, Shad is the man, and if I had to go back and award a reign to any tag team on this list, it would probably be this one, because Shad deserved it. Number 2, the Mega Powers. In terms of pure star power, maybe the biggest tag team in the history of WWE. I mean, the 1 year showing of Can They Coexist the musical was all the rage in WWE from WrestleMania 4 to WrestleMania 5, standing as one of the all-time greatest builds to a WrestleMania main event WWE has ever done. It was a different era then, but if done with today's tropes in mind, there is no question whatsoever that Hulk Hogan and Macho Man Randy Savage would have been tag team champions.
I'm surprised.
John Cena has been tag champion with 3 of his Mania opponents, so I rest my case. Hogan and Savage didn't have a ton of time to win and lose tag titles during their 1 year storyline, given the infrequency of WWE's pay-per-views, but it could have offered them another thing to build tension over on the road to WrestleMania. I say that, but I'm also not exactly going to say that I could have improved one of the most acclaimed storylines in WWE history. Not today, that is. And number 1, the Rockers. One of the greatest, most
I am surprised they didn't make it. I'm surprised they never won it, though.
And most influential tag teams of all time. Yet never did the Rockers get to etch their name in history as WWE Tag Team Champions. Much like the Rougeaus, the Rockers also had a phantom title change, although this one is much more famous. On a 1990 episode of Saturday Night's Main Event, the Rockers and the Hart Foundation were set to have a 2 out of 3 falls match that would have seen Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty win the WWF Tag Team Championship for the first time. I don't know about you, but that also sounds like a pretty damn good match. Unfortunately, we got neither a title change nor a good match, as during the match the top rope broke, and even on a taped show the referee could not figure out that maybe it would be a good idea to fix the rope. Most of the rest of the match was wrestled without it, and when you have a high-flying tag team and a team that frequently runs the ropes for their finish, you kinda need a top rope if you want the match to be any good. Not happy with the match, it was decided that the match wouldn't air, and by extension, the Rockers never won the title.
That sucks.
And wouldn't either. One of the all-time great teams never reached the top of the tag team mountain. I guess that AWA Tag Team Championship reign will have to be enough. And that's our list. Please make sure that you...
That sucked right there that it happened like that. That totally sucks right there. So yeah, other than that, this was a good video to check out as well too, though. Even though the Rouge was Hill, that sucked that situation happened as well too. And we had a close a close situation as well too with Men on a Mission. They actually won it, but it was on a live television show. But the dude but out of Mabel's Viscera's action, because he knocked the dude out, they had to redo the match, and then they ended up losing him right after. So yeah, that totally sucks right there when a situation like that happened. Though that. Anyway, fucking events. This is all I gotta say. Other than that, if you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T-Bird signing off. One love.